If you have Railfan at any period of 2024, let that be the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, or the end of the year, you can say that you have Railfan in one of the craziest years in the world of railroads. Right in the beginning in January, two paint schemes had changed. First off with Florida East Coast that changed their paint scheme into a more Ferromex-style scheme, which was implemented in late 2020. This was most likely to signify how both Ferromex and Florida East Coast are both owned by the Mexican mining company known as Grupo Mexico. Including this huge change from the iconic red and yellow, a new FEC Veterans Unit was made on a GP40-2 numbered 430. And second off, a scheme most believed to have stuck with the ALC-42, Amtrak 174 was the first P-42 to have been repainted into the Phase 7 scheme. The scheme looks great, and over 2024, more and more P-42s were painted into this scheme, and I've gotten a chance to see them. Now, I wonder how a P-32-8 would look in this scheme. In other news, a company known as Optifuel designed a six-axle cowl unit that runs off of renewable natural gas energy. This locomotive was designed with 10 natural gas generators with a total horsepower capacity of 5,600 horsepower. Now let's move to Tri-Rail. Tri-Rail began a shuttle service to Miami Central, which in turn started a connection to Brightline. And at the beginning of January, BNSF took over all operations of the Montana Rail Link. Now down south in Mexico, the second phase of the Tren Maya's inauguration is delayed until after the elections. CPKC begins their testing trials of the hydrogen-powered AC-44Hs, plus an extra tender. There's so much things I could talk about, but this would make the video so long, so let's move to February. First off, Metro made renderings of a Stadler BEMU. This also comes when Metro announced a possible conversion for F-40s to run on batteries with Progress Rail. In other news, a rare emergency order done by the FRA shut down Oklahoma Shortline Blackwell Northern Gateway Railroad, which I saw in November. The RF&P Heritage Unit CSXT 1836 was added to the fleet in February. The Seminole Gulf Railway restored service over a bridge that was damaged by a hurricane, although it was hit by a storm soon after. Amtrak announced their service, known as the Floridian, running from Miami to Chicago using a proposed track route from Atlanta to Nashville, and even a possible extension to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Okay, this will be an hour long if we talk about all the planned routes, so let's move on to March. Guess February was the month of the routes. In New Jersey, there is a large, now disused passenger terminal that was announced to be reconstructed into some weird mixture of random buildings. Pretty sad. Siemens made an article discussing how they are partnering with Brightline West to build the first high-speed train in America. This was confirmed later on by Brightline West, so this will be interesting to see once it's complete. CSX released another Heritage ES-44, this time commemorating the Seaboard Family Line system, and the Metro North Commuter Railroad released a Heritage unit of their own, this time wearing the blue and yellow Penn Central scheme that was used on their FL9s in a 1970 partnership between the Metropolitan Transportation Authority and Penn Central. Rio Grande 41 was chosen to pull the last coal-powered train for the Durango and Silverton. Union Pacific tested its first ever hybrid locomotives, which will run on batteries, which was converted from an SD40. Progress Rail released their SD70H diesel battery hybrid locomotive for testing on the Canadian National. CSX unveiled their first hydrogen-powered locomotive in collaboration with CPKC, which was converted from a GP38 and received the special livery for the type. And they released CSX 1899, which celebrates the Pierre Marquette Railroad, which once served the Great Lakes region, and the 1852, which commemorated the Western Maryland, which kind of looks like the Texas flag, you know? Yeah. CPKC began their final Spike tour with 2816 to celebrate the one-year anniversary of CPKC's creation. Back with steam, UP announced a plan to run 4014 westward from Cheyenne to Roseville, California. Amtrak 231 was repainted to its original Operation Lifesaver scheme and the Phase 3 scheme. Western Pacific GP35 number 3002 was restored. To start off May, while the final Spike tour caused droves of rail fans across North America, CPKC painted two of its ES-44s into the new CPKC schemes. These units that received the coal scheme were CP9375 and KCS4805. Several rail fans showed their dislike towards the scheme while not even showing better replacements. All I can really say is, The final summary of the East Palestine wreck was finally released that determines a faulty wheel was at fault and not the crew. CSX released the Pittsburgh and Lake Erie Heritage Unit numbered 1875 and one for the Georgia Railroad numbered 1834. NS released an Employee Appreciation Unit numbered 4822 with a striking red paint job. Not much happened this month, so let's move on to July. Metro North released their last 40th anniversary, which shows the original silver colors and has over 100 stickers showing Metro North employees on each side of the unit. To end July off, SEPTA chooses Hitachi to build M5 car sets for their Market Frankfurt line. To start August off, a Canadian rail strike occurred for about 16 hours, but then the Ministry of Labor issued a back-to-work order. Some side news in August states that CN is to stop serving the Northwest Territories, thus ending the northernmost point of rail activity in North America. NS retired the last road railers from revenue service, causing a huge goose chase for rail fans. MBTA painted a GP40 MC into a heritage scheme representing the Cranberry Scheme. CSX released their Seaboard Airline Heritage locomotive number 1900. UP 4014 was featured on Jay Leno's Garage. Alan Shaw, the CEO of NS, stepped down due to workplace misconduct, which is interesting to say the least. CSX unveils their Nashville, Chattanooga, and St. Louis Heritage locomotive. And CPKC started testing of their AC-44H hydrogen locomotives. Caltrain began to sell off their EMD F40s and Nippon Shiro gallery cars. Rail Scooter develops rail electric scooters for MOW laborers that can ride on rails. I wonder where I can acquire one. NS announces a vote to make another Heritage locomotive. NJT unveiled their Conrail Heritage Unit number 4208, and CSX released their Clinchfield Heritage Unit number 1902. Then some great news comes. Mexican Senate approves constitutional reform that will allow for the return of passenger rail service on all railway lines. This ends the law that brought the privatization of railways back in the 90s. I'm especially intrigued by the Tren Oriental, which is scheduled to run by the town my family is from. The Dreamstar sleeper train is proposed to run between San Francisco and Los Angeles. Norfolk Southern is to partner with Alstom and make prototypes of battery diesel hybrid locomotives. And Amtrak 161 was retired after a large fire in Washington, D.C. Luckily, nobody was injured. And CSX finishes off their first Heritage batch with CSX 1981, the Pan Am Railways Heritage locomotive. Metro releases a F40PH locomotive honoring veterans numbered 120. SP B30-7 numbered 7015 was donated and will be restored by the Midwest Overland Rail Preservation Society. CNO 484614 is to be restored. Although, besides all the good news this month, the same can't be said for December. Starting off December with good news, VIA announced that they will be getting new coaches, including some new dome cars, which will be nice. The Keewatin Railway Company began testing of the P40s they received earlier this year. Amtrak painted their first HHP-8 or NPCU shell of that into Phase 7, which is pretty cool since the scheme is very good looking. And to stay on topic, Amtrak painted their first Viewliner into Phase 7. NS unveiled their new Heritage locomotive we mentioned earlier, this time on a CSXM number 4051. The scheme is commemorating the Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia Railway, or TAG. The locomotive also met with the TAG locomotive in Chattanooga. The FEC created their Autonomous Track Inspection Vehicle, or ATIV, number 2414. An unknown person at Winnipeg repainted CN 5321's zebra stripes back into what it looked like before it was weathered. UP 9771, one of the last CNW painted GEs in revenue service, was officially sent inside Wabtec for rebuild. I luckily had the chance to see it before this. Unfortunately from here, there's not much good news.
Get the fuck out!
On December 18, 2024, UP train ZAILH struck a semi-truck carrying an oil refinery tower base, which led to a massive derailment. The tower base destroyed part of the historic depot in Pecos, and unfortunately, this killed 2 UP employees who died because of this wreck. Another UP derailment occurred in Los Angeles, which caused a major derailment. Luckily, nobody was killed or injured in this one. The day after the Pecos tragedy, a CN derailment occurred over a bridge in Saskatchewan, very minor. To brighten things up a bit, the CPKC holiday train collected over $1.75 million and 130,000 pounds of food. A Brightline train struck a fire truck after the fire truck went around the gates. An Azerbaijan Airlines E-190 was shot with a Russian anti-aircraft missile and crashed while attempting to emergency land in Kazakhstan. And a Jeju Air 737 crashed in Busan after a tragic landing gear failure, which unfortunately killed several people on board. Unfortunately, not the best into 2024, but you can't really do anything. Just gotta look at the good things. Hey, it's RTR. It's currently 10 a.m. on the 31st of December. Just want to say thank you so for all support this year. This year was truly a roller coaster for basically everyone in every single field. Not just railroading. Sorry, I'm reading off a no scripter now. I'm just trying to finish this off. But yeah, I think that's what the sport this year was a great year. Hopefully it was the same for you. And if it wasn't, then let's hope 2025 gets better for everyone. Well, other than that, thank you guys for the support. Have a new year. See you guys later. I knew I was going to miss something while finishing this video. Apparently, CSX 4720 just got released in the one CSX scheme. Here's a photo of it. Yeah, this year is definitely the year of surprises. It's weird how every year, or every time of the year, there's going to be something new. And even on the last day, there's something new. So, wow. All right, Happy New Year.